What the fuck is happening, my friends and all? This is the Apocalypse Show. Welcome. Got a wonderful show for you guys today. As you can tell, I'm well prepared and all that. Oh, yeah, shake it, shake it. That's right, folks. We're here. The Apocalypse Show. It's been about 4 months, but here I am. Anyways, this is called Discord and Debster. Now, with this show, I want to explain a few things. So, there's been a lot of people that came up to me to ask me about a certain individual by the name of Debster. Well, with Debster, essentially, there's been a lot of drama, more than needed to be, which all could have been resolved by a direct message or open communication. But can't have that because we have to go by our speculations. Even if we can't prove them, we just assume it and assume the worst in people and run with it without proof, and then get really mad and throw a fit like a little toddler. That's what we have to do sometimes when we're on Spreaker. That's how some people are. They love it. They enjoy it. Let them do it. I love it. So let's just start from the beginning, just so people understand what's going on, at least my version of it. So everything's fine, me, Stabby, Joe, we always go into Debbie's chat, or at least fairly often, and then I thought everything was fine, and then something happened with Debster. And what happened there was, it looks like she was in a conversation with Pepe Grillo, okay? And Pepe is the type of guy who's kind of paranoid, and so he changed his settings to some sort of unusual settings on Discord. And in order to directly message him, you have to be a friend with him on there. So I'm going to put a link to the Discord chat, and everyone's welcome to come there. Even Debster's allowed. She's still talking about how there's spies in there, but she has an account. It's active, so she can see and read everything. So it's like spying on a public forum. I mean, you can, but you're more than welcome in there. So anyways, back to that. So what ended up happening is Debster thought she got booted out, when that wasn't the case at all. And so what she ended up doing is she tried to message Pepe Grillo. And all this stuff, there's screenshots. So what I'm also going to provide you is the Discord chat. She also put a screenshot of the issue she was having. And then I also took a screenshot of what happens when you actually message Pepe Grillo. I got the same error. So this entire fucking stupid drama is over her trying to message Pepe Grillo, who had his settings a little bit different. So she wasn't kicked or anything like that. She was trying to message Pepe. She threw this huge fit. And the funny thing about all this is initially she thought it was Darren. She thought Darren kicked her from the chat. But again, like speculations, she didn't know what she was talking about. Darren does not have that ability. Only me and Stabby are admins in that room. So only we can technically modify these accounts. Now in Discord, you can modify someone's volume and stuff like that. But when it comes to like ultimate administration, it's just me and Stabby. So when she was sitting there blaming Darren, and she had no idea what was going on, all she knew is something wasn't working. Instead of actually asking anybody or talking to me, Stabby, or anyone else, she threw a huge fit. And I thought she was just kind of joking because it was really out of nowhere. Like, she just threw a fit on the air, and she even had to edit that show. So I think this show is like Tuesday or Wednesday, and she said Vic made her take it off and edit it. No, it was just her throwing this huge fit on air, and it was so silly, and it was great. I was like, wow, you're silly. You're so silly, Debster. And so she threw this huge fit about Pepe Grillo and his weird settings. Now, she thought she got booted out from this little chat, and it had nothing to do with that. Again, I'm going to put the screenshots in my description. So you'll see my screenshot. And guess what, everybody? Unless Pepe Grillo changes anything, if you message him right now, you all will get the same message, where you can't message him unless you're his friend. That's his settings. I mean, what am I going to do about that? So she threw this huge fit The next day, I noticed she deleted me as a friend on Facebook. She deleted me off Skype. And initially, this was mostly between her and Stabby, this whole fight. But I got, I was around, so I guess I'm guilty by association. And so she did all this, and I was like, okay, crazy. And, it's her show. She can ban everybody and all that. Fine, whatever. So the next day, guess what? I'm unbanned. And I think everyone else was pretty much unbanned too. So something else really weird happened. This is the second segment is when it comes to me and her, like I can't speak for Stabby. I can only speak for myself, and I'm only going to defend myself. So when it comes to all that, he has to defend himself. I have to defend myself. I don't stand behind anybody, and no one stands behind me. So that's just the way it is. It's the way it should be. And so all that happened. And then the next day, I was rebanned. So I was banned twice in Debbie's chat room in 3 days. So here's what happened too. There's a show on here called the Black Dog Show. It's these people from Ohio, and it's one of those shows I've been going to once in a while, but not too often. There's this lady on there named Kelsey, and she's kind of like one of those pervert women, that webcam chick. And I had a bet with her, a Super Bowl bet, and I lost the bet. So I've kind of been avoiding the place a little bit because I think I owe her money. No, I don't really owe her money, but she wants me to email her or something, and I'm not down for paying for webcams or any of that shit. So whatever. And anyways, so lately at that show, I've kind of also been avoiding it because Huber's taken over that show. And Huber is just some guy that Jimmy Lethal got to, and Jimmy Lethal got him to hate Debbie. Because previously, I don't think Huber had any problems with Debbie. And so, obviously, he does now. And when he does shows, oftentimes he's talking shit about Debbie. And what Debbie doesn't realize, because she doesn't investigate shit properly, or she doesn't ask people, is that Huber also hates me and Stabby. If she listened to that show, you can clearly hear that he's clowning me, he's clowning Stabby, he's clowning Debbie. Even on that show the other night, he thought we were acolytes of Debbie. And so what ended up happening was, all I did was, as I normally do, I hit explore. So I usually get home about 6, and then I hit explore because there's no TRP anymore, which is a show that News Guy helps produce. But I don't know if they're not doing anything, but it just basically left a void on Spreaker. So I went home and I hit explore, and then I saw the Black Dog show on. So I went in there, and then I just said hi. I didn't mention anything about Debbie or anything. And then I scrolled down too to look at some of the chat, and I guess Debbie got into a fight, or what I'm assuming happened is she said that supposedly she said that I was in there socking her, using a sock puppet of her, and that's not the case at all. And then I also was told by someone out of the blue, a good friend of hers, that she's going to try to report me and get me kicked off Spreaker. And so I was like, wow. And again, this is all speculation on her part. It's like if there's someone she doesn't like and there's a sock puppet in her chat room, that's Bathtub Girl. Like if she's going on a rant about Bathtub Girl, oh, that's and there's this silly sock in there, oh, that's Bathtub Girl. Or if she really hates One Angry Jew, oh, that's One Angry Jew. I mean, there's a lot of people doing socks and clones and all that. To be fair, I've done stuff like that in the past, but I haven't done that recently. I just don't. There's always stuff I'm doing in the background. It was fun while it lasted when I did it, but it was only mostly fun when Barco was around and there's more shows to do that to. A big thing Debbie doesn't realize is I toned down a lot of my shit because basically it's her show, it's Wolfman's, and I don't do socks anymore or anything like that. And so when someone told me she's trying to get me kicked off for something she's speculating about, and these Huber people, I don't think she remembers, but when Huber and 3-to-1 Leads and all those people, when they were in her chat room, let's say maybe 3 or 4 months ago, they came up with an Apocalypse sock. And she probably won't remember, or she'll deny it, probably, who knows. And she asked me, do I want it deleted? I said, no, it's fine, because I don't care. I mean, if you want to sock me, sock me. I mean, that means that person can type for me. And if they say something outrageous, fine. Nothing to me. Nothing off my skin. And so, apparently, she said that there was a sock puppet of Debbie Daly at that Black Dog show earlier. And so, I didn't see it, so maybe the show deleted it or something like that. And so what ended up happening is I showed up towards the end of the show, and I just said maybe 4 or 5 lines. And then I scrolled down, and I noticed Debbie was fighting with a bunch of females in there. And I don't know, maybe Debbie was in there fighting with her and just deleted a lot of shit and then said, oh, that's Apocalypse too. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to take her word for it that it was a sock and it wasn't her, because I know those Huber guys in that crowd, they're known for clones and cloning. So I don't know, and so because I showed up a little bit late in the chat, she's like, oh, that's Apocalypse. He cloned me. I'm going to get him kicked off Spreaker. And A, you don't know who that clone was, if there was even a clone. And B, you're talking about some obscure chat that most of our crew or people we know don't know about. So supposedly you got in a fight with a bunch of nobodies, and then you blame me, and then you did a fucking 5-hour-long show about me, and then all this. So I wanted to clear, that wasn't me, and you can go ahead and contact Spreaker all you want, because that wasn't me. I didn't do any socks. All I did at this show, and unlike her, I don't delete my chat, so I just went in there and just said hi to these people. I said about 4 or 5 lines. I did not mention anything about Debbie. It wasn't until later that I realized and scrolled down that she got into some vicious fight with some of these people. And I posted that in the Discord chat that, hey, look, she got into a fight with all these people or something. I don't know, because, I don't know, these Huber people clearly have taken over that show. This isn't the first time they've been on there, and Jimmy riled them up about Debbie, and so they're on this Debbie warpath. And the weird thing is, these Huber people hate me, and then Debbie's all hating on me. It's like, okay. So, yeah, so the first thing that I mentioned was about the Discord was essentially, look, it was a total miscommunication. Again, check the screenshots I'm about to post. And then, yeah, so this got really stupid this weekend, and this is what happens when people close off communication, when they just go with their gut and run with it. And this is sad because as much as Debbie hates me right now, is doing shows on me, there's a lot of things she'll never give me credit for. One thing, she's told me a lot of sensitive and private stuff. I've never revealed any of that. None of it. The most I've ever revealed, and it's been in her chat room, is sometimes I'll show like Vic's avatar, just silly stuff like that, but that's it, She's told me a lot more. She's told me a lot of her dealings, and I won't even reveal it. As mad as she might be at me right now, that's not me, And another thing, too, is as mad as she's at me right now, most of the time I'm in her chat room, making it fun, And sometimes I'll call into her show, not very often, but I do. We have a pleasant time. But this is what's scary is like all the thousands and tens of thousands of words I've helped put her chat in, and listened and sometimes participated. I even, sometimes when they're talking about stuff on her show, I'll even just message her on Skype, like this, or I'll give her a link, or, I've tried to help the show a lot. And again, she won't give me any credit for that, so it's sad. And then she turns on me over nothing. So the first thing it was about Discord, and then, which she didn't know what she was doing, and Stabby too, like he's kind of a noob in all this. So I think initially she was pissed off, and then Stabby, I think, did something stupid. I think he restricted her for about 10 minutes or something like that. This was after she started getting pissed off and was screeching all at him. And then she also got on Darren's ass, and she's funny. She put something like his wife's dumb, and that she somehow thinks Darren's gay, and she called him a sister boy. It's so funny. And obviously I'm a pocketcock. And then Stabby McThug. And then Joe, he's a bad guy. Another thing I didn't really understand from her was her little kick about calling Stabby a misogynist. Now, there's one thing that Stabby is, and that's a fucking pussy-ass liberal. Okay? And those pussy-ass liberals are fucking annoying. And one thing they are is usually they're not misogynists. Usually they're exact opposite. They put those women on a pedestal. Fucking Stabby voted goddamn Hillary Clinton. Jesus fucking Christ. And he's a misogynist? And that's a really poor word to use, because whatever happened between you and Stabby happened between you and him. You can't just determine that he hates all women because you and him got into a fight. You don't know the relationships he's had with other women and all that. So I don't think that was a fair characterization from you. So I thought that was really weird. And then now she's pretty contempt about keeping us all out. So unfortunately for her, I thought me, Stabby, and Joe, I thought we added a lot to her show. I mean, maybe it wasn't anything major. I mean, we still populated her chat. I think Stabby often criticized her a lot, sometimes maybe a little bit too much, I'd think. But, I mean, it made her think. I don't think usually the people on there are really going to say no. Or just something like, you're wrong, or no. I mean, the one thing you'll never hear out of Debbie's mouth is, oh, guess what, guys? You're right, I'm wrong. That rarely happens. And a lot of times we're dealing with opinions oftentimes, or sometimes there's facts, and same thing. So it's just like this uphill battle, very, for all the shit that she's talked about me, it doesn't really match the crime. And that's what I thought about this ridiculousness of it all. Like, oh, she banned all of us, fine, so now you get to enjoy, less people in your chat. And, really, I don't see anybody doing anything too wrong here. I think basically you overreacted. And also I'm going to include a screenshot where you blame all this on Stabby. So be sure to check out the screenshots I'm going to include. And she blamed all this on Stabby. When all this started, again, was when she couldn't message Beppe Grillo back on Discord. Also, I'm going to include a link to Discord, as I've said a million times. And Discord's perfect, because if you think about it, it's a central place where we can all gather, and we can go from show to show. This is something that we kind of had before in a Skype chat room, but people got mad at each other, and it just slowly died, and Rick quit and all that. So this is a good alternative to that, because if you're pissed at someone in the Discord chat, also you can mute them. Just you mute them. So if you really hate somebody, just do that, and you don't have to kick them or ban them or anything. And also Debbie's in there. I mean, she's not saying anything, but she's there, and she can participate like everyone else. She also included a video to Darren that, and this was funny, and even Darren will probably laugh, that showed something about married guys that are gay or something, because she's trying to indicate that he's gay. And you know what, Debbie? I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I think he's not gay, though. I think he's happy gay. But no, Darren, I think you misread Darren this whole time, and I think that's really funny. Because I think most people that know him know he's not this evil guy, starting shit. I mean, if anything, he's a lot closer to Stabby, except a more neutered version of Stabby, where he's a super liberal guy. He has a lot of gay friends, family man, all this. If anything, he's definitely a pushover. And so when you basically prop Darren up to be this evil, bad guy, and he's not, because everyone that has dealt with Darren besides you has, for the most part, gotten the impression that he's a decent guy. He's not this asshole that you try to make him out to be. And honestly, I think he's kind of a pushover. I mean, he really is. I mean, good guy, though. He's a pushover, though. I mean, I think that's a good thing, though. We need all sorts of types here at Spreaker. We need the alphas, the omegas, the betas, like me. I guess I'm a beta, you know, so. Yeah, so be sure to check out some of the screenshots. Let me double check too here. Also, I think she called me a slime. Oh, she did call me a slime ball. And also, she was in Wolfman's chat last night. And basically, she erased a lot of what she wrote. But I did capture some of it. And basically, all Darren said was, wish Debbie was still friends with us. She was the best at prank calls. Now, it's not really an insult. It was just saying it was actually like a half compliment. And basically, he said that she's the best at prank calls. And that's what he thought. It was. And then Debbie, I'll show you the screenshot. She goes off on him, of course, because nothing goes past her, right? And so, yeah, this is pretty much my show. One last thing, too, is I noticed Debbie has One Angry Jew back on her show. Congratulations. After all that shit, he's talked about your brother and all that other nasty, dark shit. And then word band. Congratulations. I mean, I guess, you know, you sure showed us with him. I mean, grats. Enjoy.